Testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Testing 1, 2, 3. Still can't hear me. Okay. Let me check the audio settings. Should be good. Let's see. My microphone's on. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The microphone. La la la. Testing 1, 2, 3. There's some things going on with my mic down here. You can hear me now? You can give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. There's something wrong though. I couldn't reset the settings on my screen, so I'm a lot closer up than I like being. You can or you cannot hear me? Yes, 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 you can hear me. All right. La la la. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't like this picture being so big. I don't like being so close in, guys. I don't like being so big. You say you can hear me? Hello, hello, hello. Let's see. La la la. You can. Or cannot. Let's see. Testing 1, 2, 3. I had messed with the microphones. So, geez, Stephanie, if you are there. Sorry we're getting such a late start, guys. It's my fault. Yes, no, you can hear me? La la la. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's do a little test. You can hear me. Okay, great. Good. So we're live. The only thing is I can't figure out how to bring in a guest. I tried. We tried. So I guess that's just something we're going to have to work on. I'll get it figured out before next week. Yes, Stephanie. So we're live. Yes, that's great. Awesome. I hate being so close up. I got to fix that because I don't like being so close up. So welcome to Adoption Diaries. We got our first live about an hour, 47 minutes late. Yes, Stephanie is our moderator and editor, and this is our first ever Adoption Diaries live stream. And also it'll be recorded and it'll be up available on the channel later. If you can't join in live with us now, you can look at it later. But yes, so Stephanie was originally going to come on and do the live with me, and we were going to do some discussions, and we are still going to do this. This is our introductory or test live stream to just get things going, introduce ourselves. And we've had the Facebook page up for some time now, and there's several people that have shared their stories, and that's kind of what we want to do, is we want to be able to share everybody's stories, and do like Q&A and do specific topics once a week. And so we need your feedback. We need your input and your feedback. So be sure that you do me a favor. Oops. And subscribe to the channel. Be sure to give it a thumbs up if you like the live and the group, and leave comments below after. You can also join us in the live chat and ask questions or tell us about subjects that you would like to cover on the topic, because there's so much. And as a little girl growing up, I never thought of it as a thing. It was just the way it was, and it was very it was very real, and I was a very happy girl. It was probably when I started in 11, 12 that I started wondering, because I look a lot lighter now, but when I was younger, my hair was really dark, my eyebrows were dark. I had a darker complexion. I knew I had darker roots, not roots, but heritage roots, a Latina of some sort. And I know my birth mother's real name was on a birth certificate. So I knew I was Italian and Puerto Rican. That's all I knew. And, but it didn't start becoming a thing for me until my teens. And I started like wanting to know, because I was raised by very Southern parents from North Carolina and Alabama. And I didn't look like any of them. And I think a lot of you guys from the stories that I've read can understand and relate to not looking like your adoptive parents. And I hate even calling them adoptive parents. I've never done that except when I'm talking to other adoptees, because they're my parents to me. And I know that they're, from being on these groups now for a couple years, that it's a very controversial and a very touchy subject for a lot of people, because a lot of people didn't have um, the good life that I had. And so that's what we want to explore here with Adoption Diaries, is we want to be able to explore the traumas that we actually find later in life sometimes, and never attribute it. I never attributed some of the problems that I had with my mental health and the way that I obsess over family and things like that. I never considered any of that to be because I was adopted. And it wasn't until I've seen, God, uh, my seventh or eighth psychiatrist, that they're like, number one, you have PTSD. And I'm like, what? No, I was never in the military. I never was a cop. I never endured anything traumatic. And then she started naming off all these things that I had told her. And I go, oh, well, I never really thought about it that way before. But she said there is a thing called adoption trauma. And that's when I started doing the research on it and started connecting with you guys on these Facebook groups. And I started reading these horror stories. And I'm like, I just can't relate to that because I personally didn't have those horror stories. But I learned to understand them, or I learned to try to understand them, to not try to shut people down, to try to listen and learn from that. And that's along with my diagnosis from the psychiatrist that made me realize a lot of the things that were going on in my life could be attributed to adoption. It wasn't my parents' fault. It was not my parents' fault. I had really good parents. I think it's just a physiological thing, if that makes sense. More of a separation, a bond breaking from a biological parent. Even though thankfully it was a really good thing for me, because I had some wacko people on my biological mother's side of my family. Hopefully never see this. I don't care. But anyway, yes, yeah, so my story is just one out of so many. And I'm hoping that Stephanie, we will figure out how to pull up the other screen where I can bring her in, and we can just, hit on topics and talk about other people's stories. And we can feature a different adoptee, or as a matter of fact, it can be anybody in the adoption triad. It can be an adoptive parent. It can be a biological parent. It can be, an adoptee. It can be a biological sibling or an adopted sibling. There's so many people that are affected by adoption, whether they know it or not. And for me, like I said, it took me a long time to realize some of the things, and not that there's blame to be laid at the feet of your parents all the time, because sometimes it has absolutely nothing to do with that. And I learn a little more from you guys every time I get on one of those Facebook groups. So Stephanie, I know she has a story, and we're gonna what I plan on doing is doing like an hour stream once a week, and we will get it figured out where we can, have two screens and have different people up. I'd like to feature Stephanie's story and let her talk about her story, and you guys can chat here, and we can take turns. I can have other people on, and we'd love to hear your story, where you are in your journey. Some people want to know and want to search for their families. Some people don't. Some people have no need, or no emptiness, not emptiness, no lack of a need to know. And I find that hard to understand or wrap my brain around, because I always wanted to know from like my teens on, and I wasn't going to be satisfied. I was like laser focused on that until I found them, and then it was like, okay, now I can see these people that look like me, that share mannerisms with me, that was not nurture, it was nature. Because I'd never met these people before in my life. And I lost my train of thought for a minute, so excuse me. But those kind of things are, I was talking about stories, whether it's, meeting these people, your reunion, where you're at on your journey, if you've already met them, if you're still searching, how is that going for you? Are you running into problems with people not wanting to connect or not wanting to respond to you, and how that makes you feel is not good. And the feelings and the guilt that we feel sometimes, that many of us feel when we try to reach out, we're like, gosh, I really don't want to interrupt their family. What if, somebody part of the family doesn't know? But it's like, you have to do what's right for you. You didn't make the decision to be adopted. And I think that everybody will agree on that. Nobody made that decision. So however you choose to handle it, or however you choose to feel about it, that's right. That's correct. And I think that there are a lot of anti-adoption people out there who believe that it just shouldn't be a thing at all. But I mean, what other options? I've even seen people talk about they should have been aborted. That I can't wrap my brain around, but I know a lot of people have some really deep-seated pain, and I want to help understand that. I want to be able to understand that better. And I think the only way to do that is to share our stories. Share them with each other. Share our thoughts and our fears and our desires, and just share our stories with one another. I think that there's a lot to be said for everybody, anybody that is affected with adoption. And by the way, today is actually National Adoption Day. So I know a lot of people are AKAing it as National Adoption Awareness Month. But today is actually National Adoption Day. So that's why I wanted to get this live stream out today. It's going to take a little time to build this community, but this live stream is going to be available for you to view at any time. I'm going to put it up on the channel, and I'm going to do some short recorded videos on specific topics and read poetry from you guys. If you want to share some of your poetry about adoption, I would love to have that. I would love to hear your short stories if you've written anything. How many of you out there are writing a book? Let me rephrase that. I have started to write a book, and I've got chapters done, but I have decided changed my mind on how I wanted to do things so many different times, and then I put it away. I get so bombarded and so emotional or so stuck down one rabbit hole that doesn't fit, and I just have to put it away and walk away for a while. But how many people have either thought about or are in the process of writing a book, whether it be a memoir, something for just your personal family to reflect on someday after you're gone, or a novel, a fiction, or sorry,
Sorry, honey.
I apologize.
Sorry, baby.
Whether it be a novel, a fiction story, because I originally started out to do a memoir, and I'm like, you know what, everybody has a story. Everybody has a story. I want to do something different. So I took a story. I've always been a writer of poetry and a lover of poetry and writer, like to write short stories and stuff. And when I was a teenager, I started writing a romance novel or a romance book, whatever. It was a story at the time. And it was a good concept. And when I started writing, I started looking through some of my old papers, and I found the stories that I started to write. And I'm like, you know what? What if I merged the two? What if I made it still a novel, but I used my characters and made it a story about a couple or a potential couple, and they've got their drama, and there's the plot twist that one really wants to know about. They're both adopted. Both the male and the female character are adopted or were adopted, and one really wants to know, and the other one has no interest whatsoever. And so they butt heads a lot in this story. And I decided to merge it together. And so that's what I want to do. That's what I'm hoping to do. And I'd love to know and hear your thoughts and ideas. If you've got a book out, be happy to share it on the community. I don't know if I have a community tab yet for this channel. I think I do. But feel free to share it on our Facebook page. It's also called Adoption Diaries. There's a Facebook page and a group, both Adoption Diaries. Or share it in the comments below. Links if you have a website to promote your book. Feel free to do that, because we need to support each other. And that's what I hope that Adoption Diaries will bring. And I know the channel's been a long time coming, and it's been a long time since I decided to do this, and I normally fix myself up a little more, but I didn't have time today, so you get the worst part of Jennifer today. But I would love to share your stories and have someone on different each week, or do specific topics and videos. So if you have ideas, concepts, things that you would like to see videos done on, we can do regular videos. We can do the live streams. We can also interact again on the Facebook page and the Facebook post, because I have several people I want to bring in. It's just a matter of working out the technical issues and trying to figure out how I can bring somebody onto the channel. So anyway, what's going on there? Yeah, I am a mess today. So this is Adoption Diaries, and I'm gonna keep this live short. I'm gonna keep it short because we need to draw some people in. We need to get some people involved right now, and I know there are many people out there that are affected by adoption, not necessarily just the adoptee. I know it must be hard as an adopted parent. I know it must be really hard for a birth parent, going through their lives thinking about that child that they gave away, or that, for whatever reason. There's got to be a lot of emotions and a lot of guilt and a lot of deep-seated, emotions when it comes to that. And we're going to touch on that. We're going to share that here because I think sharing is caring. And I honestly believe that every family is dysfunctional. Believe me, I have 3 grown sons, and it's a nightmare trying to get them together, and they have their own things going on in their lives, and we don't always agree on the way things happen. And I think there's also something to be said with the birth, what is it called, the number where you're firstborn, an only child, a middle child, a youngest child. There's something to be said, and there is a book out there. I'm gonna try to find the title, and I'll put it in the link below, that talks about birth order and how each child, a firstborn, a middle child, a youngest child, or an only child, how they deal with life and some of the problems that they deal with. And what parts I did read were very true, seemed to be very fitting. There's a lot of scientific research behind it. It's not like astrology, you got a sign, they're going to tell you something that might ring a bell. This is something that's really scientifically backed by a lot of research. And if you have some books that you'd like to share, like I said, feel free to share them in the comments, because we can always read excerpts from books. And oh, good. Thank you, Stephanie. I appreciate that. Stephanie is our moderator, and also my new friend. And she's going to be participating a lot here on the channel too. So I can't wait till I can actually bring her on so you can see her. But yes, we're going to probably do at least an hour each week. And I need your ideas. I need your thoughts. I want your input. So be sure that you go and check out our Facebook page and the Facebook group. They are private groups. So people won't be able to go in and read your post. You can go in and share whatever you want. Thank you, Stephanie. And we want to keep you here. We want you guys to join us, and we want to hear all about what's going on with you, whether it's good or bad, because it's always a little bit of both, I think. I think that we all have things that might just stick in our craw, things that our parents might have done or could have done differently. I don't like parent bashing. I don't think that that's necessary. I mean, obviously, abusers are abusers, and that's something that nobody should have to know, especially a child, should ever have to deal with. And that's something we would never tolerate. But as far as in general, we don't just parent bash, whether it's biological parents, where it's adoptive parents, siblings. We want to raise people up. I know there's bad, negative stories, and we will share them, and we'll get into that. And I have a friend who's a psychologist. I don't know if you know Dr. John Matthias. His wife, Lauren Matthias, runs the podcast Hidden True Crime. Her husband, they do lives on Friday. If you're into true crime, you should go check it out. It's an awesome podcast, and they do lives on Friday. But her husband is a clinical psychologist, and I would love to get him on the show one day and bend his ear and talk about adoption, and see how much he knows about it. I'm sure he's a very experienced psychologist, so I'm sure he has some great input to add. But I'm going to go ahead and go, because we only have a few people. We only have one person in the live today because we were late, and I totally apologize for that. But we're going to get into it. So I hope you will join us. I hope you will share your thoughts. And if you watch this video after it's been released, leave some comments leave us some suggestions. If you know somebody or would like to come on and tell your story, if you know writers or authors, psychologists, psychiatrists, any people that are used to dealing with the traumas that some people go through with adoption, many people, I would love to hear it. And I know there's a lot going on constantly, depending, no matter what part of the journey you're in, whether it being finding out for the first time you were adopted. A lot of people don't know till they're grown, or whatever step you're in that journey, whether you're trying to figure out whether you want to find your parents, your biological family, or biological parents, if you found them, if it went bad, if it went good, where are you now in that journey? And share that with us, because I think that no matter, it's a never-ending cycle, and I think we're constantly evolving. For me, I say it's almost like a decade thing. You know, how you are in your 20s is so totally different than how you are in your 30s. And same as when you get your 40s, that's another level. Now I'm in my 50s. It's like I'm just old. But you gain some level of wisdom, I think, and some level of knowledge. But that pain that you get, it's something that you can't deny, and it's something that you can't bury, and you can't suppress it, because it's going to come back. It's going to come back some way or another. So that's what we want to do here, is to help you to share that and hopefully evolve to that next level of wisdom and understanding and acceptance, because we all need that in our lives, I think. And then with that, I'm just going to call it a night. I thank Stephanie. Thank you for trying really hard with me. You're very technically savvy, so I'm really excited about that, and I think you're going to be a huge asset, and I'm so thankful for you already. And anybody that wants to join us to help be a moderator for the channel, mention it in the comments. Let us know. We are ready, and we are here to tell your stories, to talk about adoption, to talk about all the things that you're feeling and that you need to get off your chest. That's what we're here for. Oh, I'm so happy to have you, Stephanie. Okay, so we're done. I'm going to call it a night, but we're definitely going to go live again. We're going to figure out what's the best schedule. I might put a poll up on the community tab of the YouTube channel, as well as on the Facebook page and group, to see what's the best night of the week. I do a live stream for my other channel on Monday nights, so Mondays are out. And once a month I do a members only live stream for my other channels. So we'll have to figure something out. Maybe Wednesday nights or Thursday nights might be good. And depending on what time zone you're in, it might make a difference too. But put that in the comments. Let me know what the best time is to you. Or like I said, I'll put a poll in. And just let us know what nights, what days are better, what times are better. Because I'm in Florida. I'm on Eastern Standard Time. So for me, it's 7:13 p.m. right now. And we want to do it where we can maximize our time together and get as many people in here as possible to share their stories and to be able to reflect back and use the knowledge that we gain from one another. Because that's the wonderful thing about it all, is being able to use that knowledge and rely on someone else that knows where you've been, that knows the depths of the depression or the loneliness or the not fitting in or whatever it is, or the joys and the good things. For me, it's a roller coaster of both. So I can't wait to get into that story with you. But we'll save it for another time. Anyway, thank you so much. Do me a favor real quick. Be sure to subscribe to Adoption Diaries Be sure to give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Turn on the bell for notifications. That way you'll be alerted whenever I go live or upload a new video here on Adoption Diaries. And I know, Steffi, I'm really happy. I'm glad we got this done. It's an intro. It's short. It's sweet. It's to the point. But I wanted to kind of explain what we're doing, and we will have more of a uniformed program going forward. But this was just an initial introduction video because it is National Adoption Day or National Adoption Awareness Month for November, and I wanted to get it started. It's like, why put off today or to tomorrow what I could do today? And I felt like this was the perfect day to start this video. So thank you all for joining us. Thanks to my mod new friend Stephanie, and we will see you guys all again very soon. Next week sometime. We'll just figure out what time it is, and I'll put a link up on the YouTube channel, so make sure you have bell notifications on, and you'll be able to join us in our live chat. We can talk about anything and everything. All right. Thanks, you guys. Love to you all. Good night.